Hello again, everyone. So in this particular lecture, we will discuss about the different web services that you definitely have come across. So first, we'll start with some basic introduction, basic concept, basic term that you need to learn in order to exactly understand what are the different web services that are available to you or how exactly this web services work. Right. So for this particular lecture, you will be needing to use little bit of your imagination, right? Because the concept that we will discuss here are those that you have actually come across, that you have been using every time you open the internet. You have used or you have come across this concept. But what you'll be learning here, you'll be learning about the technical aspect of all those concepts that you have been using, of all the concepts that you come across in the internet. So fine, without further ado, we'll start with the first one directly. So the first concept is the web page. Web page is something very simple. Fine. Every time you log in, you are connected to the internet. The very first thing that appears to your screen is a web page. So each and every page that appears in your screen, fine, each and every screen that appears when you connect to the internet, they are the web page. Because of that, I've mentioned that every single page here or the document that is displayed in an internet, at the moment you are connected to the internet, fine, you are displaying a web page. So every page, everything that display in your screen, that will be considered as a web page. Now your this web page here are created using a language called as a markup language. We'll discuss in details about this. Example of which are the hypertext markup language, the extended hypertext markup language, the extended markup language. We'll discuss about this in details. So when you have a page, please try to understand this. Try to picture this. When you have a web page, what you can do is you can scroll your page, right? You can scroll it left, right, you can scroll it up and down. Fine. So in every page, in every web page that you will go through, your web page will contain either maybe some very simple or very complex text. There will be some text that will be written there. There will be words, there will be sentences. Fine. It can include some sort of animation, right? Some sort of a graphics which keep moving something. Maybe it can even include a sound. Fine. Then you can click on that and then you can play something. It can be an interactive element, something that you interact, you enter something and then it accept and then you respond back or something. And it also contains a link which allows your that particular screen to be connected to some other screen. If you can recall, you click on something, right? The moment you click on that, then another page will appear on your screen. The moment you click on something, it can be either in the form of a text, maybe you click on a video, you click on an image. When you click on that, you will be connected to some other page. That is what we refer to as a hyperlink, which we'll discuss in the next slide. So in the next slide, what you have is you have this concept called as a hypertext and a hyperlink. So initially, remember you have a web page. Now inside this web page, besides all the text, the image that you have, you will also come across this particular concept which is referred to as a hyperlink. Hyperlink here is referred to as a standard that links or connects one page to any other related pages. And so when you click on any of those links, it can be say a text, it can be an image, it can be a video, it can be just some sort of a link. When you click on that, you will be connected to some other page that is related to the previous page. Fine, when you click, it's not a randomly, it'll take you somewhere else. No, always when you click on a hyperlink or a hypertext, fine, because it can be a text also, you will be taken to a screen that is related to the previous screen. Now this text, the hypertext or hyperlink that we mentioned, fine, is referred to as an anchor. Fine, this is sort of the tools that connect you from the current page, whichever page you are currently on, connect you from there to all the other pages that is available in the net. So fine. So this link here can be either in the form of a text. It can just be some normal text, say for example name or anything, fine, in the form of a text, or it can be in the form of a graphics. It might be some sort of animation. It can be some sort of an audio or a video, fine. Where when you click on that, you will be connected to some other page. Now when you click on any of the hyperlink, fine, This erase the current page and new pages will be loaded in its place. So that means whatever you were initially, fine, that will be erased, and instead of that you get a different page in its place. So it will be replaced when you click on a link. The current page will be now replaced by some new pages. Fine. So I hope you can picture this. So this will be your hypertext or your hyperlink. Now, once you are familiar with that, remember what you have is you have a web page which is single page. Now you have a hyperlink through which you connect from one page to another page. Now web page, you can consider it as say the pages of your textbook. When you have single page. Then what happens is in order to connect all those pages, you have that binding right on the side of your book. You have that binding that you can consider it as a hyperlink. Now when you have collection of those pages in your textbook, now when they are binded together, what you get is you get a book, right? The textbook C. So likewise, in the concept of web services, what you have is you have those different web pages, and you have endless number of web pages. Now this web pages, what they'll do is they will be connected with each other. I mean, they will be binded with each other. How they'll be binded with each other? With the help of your hyperlink, just like we bind your textbook. So we have the hyperlink which bind, that means which interconnect one page to another page. Now a collection of all those interrelated web pages, right, is referred to as a website. So when we talk about a website, we're talking about a collection of interrelated web pages that are interconnecting with each other with the help of a hyperlink. For example, if you talk about the website of Shillong Commerce College, fine, if you log in into the Shillong Commerce College website, what happens is you will not have just exactly one web page, right? There will be one web page and another web page and then a third web page and so on and so forth. In order to go from one web page to another web page, you have to click on some link. There will be link available there in every page. Fine. So now when you talk about say Shillong Commerce College website, in Shillong Commerce College website, you will get only information related to Shillong Commerce College. You will not get say information related to Facebook. You will not get information say related to your Twitter. You will not get information say related to Gmail. When we talk about Shillong Commerce College website, we will get only information that is related specifically to Shillong Commerce College. So that is what a website is all about. It is a collection of all those interrelated web pages that are connected with each other with the help of the hyperlink. When we talk about a website can be owned either by one individual, every one of you can have your own website if you know how to create one, or it can be owned by a group of individuals or organization. Fine, so each and every one of you can have a website, can own a website. It's not very tough. Fine, loading a website, uploading it in the internet. So it can be either by an individual or group of individual or an organization. So this is regarding your website. You have a web page, you have a hyperlink, and then you have a website. Next one is the hypertext markup language. I've mentioned that your web page, each and every pages that you see in your internet, fine, when you're connected to your internet, each and every pages that you see in your screen, those are created using this language, fine, in general a markup language. Now hypertext markup language is one of those many languages. So this is a language that allows you to create and design any of the web content, whatever you see in the internet. Okay, it's created by using a markup language. Now this is called as a markup language because, for example, this is one example of a code. Say you can call it a code, fine, which is displayed. It's written as HR. So when I type HR, what happens is HR means horizontal line. This is called as a tag, TAG, fine, in your markup language. When I include this tag, whenever I include HR, this means that a horizontal line, fine, will be drawn in place of this tag. So whatever you want to display in the web page, you have to mention it with the help of a particular tag. So it's like you include a marking. You want to include something, say for example, you want to draw, you include a heading. You write H for heading. Okay? You want to include something as bold. So it will be B for bold. And then you want to include something in italic. For italic, then it'll be I. And there are so many other tags. Now depending on the tag that you include in your hypertext, exactly the meaning of those tags will be displayed in your web page. Fine, that means it will be displayed in your screen. So that is why we call this as a markup language. Whatever mark we provide, we include in a hypertext. Okay, that means the meaning of that will be displayed in your pages. So here your hypertext markup language here has a variety of tags. It have different attributes. Attributes are the value actually that allow you, it's sort of like an adjective in your grammar, fine, which allows you to explain more about a verb or noun. Likewise here when you have a tag HR, now you want to provide say a color for your horizontal line, right? So you include HR and then color say equal to red, so your horizontal line will be presented in a red color, right? So that is the meaning of an attribute. This attribute allows you to define the layout and then the structure of your web document, how exactly you want to lay things, how exactly you want your web page to appear. This can be adjusted in your hypertext markup language. These are designed here to display the data in a formatted manner. Formatted means it's sort of a markup itself. Whatever format you want to display, it will appear here. Now the extension of designing a web page will be .html or .html. That's why you might have noticed there in your web page, find in the URL or the link there on top of your web page. Normally what you get to see, you get to see a page followed by say .html. This means that this particular page is designed using a hypertext markup language. Like when you run a program, a Python program, you include .py, right? So that your compiler will know that this is a Python program. So in order for your computer to know that this is an HTML language, so we have the extension .html or normally we use .html. Next one here is the extensible markup language. This is almost the same as that of your HTML. It is also a markup language, but this is designed not to display the actual content, but this is designed here to carry or to store data. And when you want to store data, say for example, like you are asked to enter your details. When you enter all your those details, when you register something, fine, you have to store it somewhere, right? So your extensible markup language will help you to store those data. They are not designed, like what I've already mentioned, they are not designed to display data. It does not have any predefined tags. So there is no customized tags here. Fine. It allows the programmer here to use their own tag depending on how do they want the data to be stored. Okay, accordingly, right? The programmer can design the content or the format of how things are to be stored. That is why it is always possible here to define new tags in your extensible markup language. And this is not very common. What is more common is your HTML. So this allows the programmer here to use any customized tag. It will be user defined. According to the programmer, they can have their own new tag included there. Next concept is your hypertext transfer protocol. And we have already discussed this when we discussed about the network protocol. I've already mentioned that a hypertext transfer protocol or HTTP allows the data that is stored in the web server somewhere in the internet to be transferred to your computer screen. When you have your web browser, say the Internet Explorer, you type something from there, fine, and then you send it to the web server. So web server in turn will send a reply and the content will be displayed in your web page. Right? So whenever we want to include this particular protocol, which is a set of rules, right? Now whenever you want to transfer web pages from the server, you want to bring it to your computer screen, or from your computer screen you want to send it, say for example, to the server, you will have to include this protocol. If you remember, protocol is a set of rules, right, that allows data to be transmitted in the internet. So if you want any of the web page to be transmitted from the browser to the server, from the server to the browser, you will have to include this. That is why normally what you do is you type HTTP / followed by what other website. Fine, we will discuss about this. This entire thing here is called as a URL. We'll discuss that in the next lecture. So it is HTTP first. The moment you type this, then your machine understands, fine, that you are trying to transmit a web page. Okay, so this is the rules that will allow you to transfer web pages from your screen to another screen. Other than that, you also have something called an HTTPS. The extra S here stands for secure. If you want to make sure that you are sending data in a secure manner, then you include the